So currently in version 3.2 story of Honkai Star Rail, I am in Sixia, which most likely is the final part of the 3.2's story, right? Where we have to fight the boss, right? And I've come to the conclusion that 3.2 story is bad. Not the entirety of Amphorius, but 3.2 specifically is bad. It almost reminds me of 3.0, but just slightly better. And before you say,
here we go, another person just hating on Honkai Star Rail.
Bloody blah, he must be a Kurobot, bloody blah. Let me explain for a second, okay? So I as I've said, I'm close to the ending of 3.2 most likely, and 3.2 story is worse, and it's not even better than 3.1. Remember Tribi? Remember My Day Stories? It was so phenomenal. The whole version solely focused on them. Sure, there was a Flame Reaver and whatnot, but it mainly focused on them. And that's what made 3.1 so good. The consistency on just focusing on two important storylines, or three if you want to count Flame Reaver. Three important storylines, absolutely phenomenal. They cooked with 3.1. And now we look at 3.2, you can see where the issue arises, right? Let me explain for a second. We have to deal with Anaxa and his whole situation. We have to deal with Castrus and her whole situation. We have to deal with finding Thanatos. We have to deal with the Elder bullcrap. And then on top of that, we also have to deal with the Trailblazer situation. That's 5 main important topics they have wrapped up into one story. And you want to know, and you want to see a good example of a gacha game that can handle and manage its stories. Wuthering Waves. Now, yes, I know, Wuthering Waves comparison, here we go, but listen. We have Wuthering Waves had its 2.2, if I believe 2.2's main story, right? Cardathia, we had all of that. And then we had the character quests for Cantarella, because if you were to combine Cantarella's whole main quest, like character quests, into the main quest, it's gonna feel like a slog, right? It's just gonna be too many things to focus on. So that's why they have character quests, to help split up the absolute slog that is the entirety of the version story. HSR just doesn't do that anymore, right? I think the last time we had one was with Hua and the whole Mr. Tail situation. That was the last time we had like a character quest, quote unquote. I don't really know if it was, but correct me if I'm wrong. And that's the whole issue. They just give us way too many things to focus on in one version, and that's what's making it feel like an absolute slog. And don't get me wrong, I'll give credit where credit's due, okay? I'll give credit where credit's due. Castrus' story is phenomenal. I really love it. Anaxa's story and his character, one of the best in the game. Cypher as a character is amazing. The whole Titans thing was amazing. I really enjoyed all of those things in version 3.2. But I'm not even gonna lie, to try and get through the story really feels like a pain. And I know, and you wanna know when a story is like boring and it's like really boring you? I literally passed out playing the game. Like, I fell asleep trying to get through the story. And it has nothing to do with cash, it has nothing to do with that. All of those are fine. The main issue I really have is the Elder Council, whatever the hell they're called. And you should know what I'm talking about. They're the ones that are trying to, hinder the Crisis heirs and their journey. They want to take control of it, yada, yada, yada. The old heads from Naruto, right? What purpose do they serve in the story besides to be a hindrance to the Crisis heirs? What? And before anybody comes running down in the comments and say, well, actually, they do X, Y, and Z, Z, Y, and X, that was a mission. No, trust me when I say you can remove everything about the elders from the story, and the story would be a million times better than what it is right now. You can get upset at that, but you just gotta know I'm right. I sat down and I kept thinking, what purpose do they have in the story? Well, surely it must be really important, no? Literally, Anaxa had a whole yap fest with them for nothing. It had nothing to do with the main story. Anaxa just wrote them off as what? Hindrances for his main goal. I'm telling you, if we cut out that entire thing with the elders, I wouldn't have an issue really with the story. The consistency of the story would be a million times better. And that's the funny thing. I fell asleep on that part because it really was boring. I'm sorry, they're boring. They serve zero purpose in that story. And I can't be the only one who thinks like that, right? I really can't be the only one. This is literally all they do. Those damn filthy Crisis heirs. I can't stand the way they do those things, the way they chase the Titan's core flames. That is preposterous, okay? I wanna make Amphorius great again by taking control of those filthy crisis heirs, okay? We won't stop at nothing to make sure we take control of each and every one of them, okay? Those damn demigods. That's literally their whole shtick. That's literally the whole thing about them. Why? Whatever the story director's name is, why did he decide to add that into the story? Like, you can't look at it no other way. You really just can't. You can't, okay? They're literally just plot devices to stop us from continuing the story faster. That's literally it. What was the discussion about? What purpose did the whole argument between the crisis heirs and those old fossils had? Zero. Because after that, we're like, oh, okay. Anyways, so yeah, that's the little issue I had with the story. Everything else so far is pretty good. I'm gonna make a separate video discussing 3.2 story as a whole and give my thoughts on it afterwards. But this little short video was to just really discuss why 3.2 story was bad. I would go further, and I honestly will go further into it in like the other video. But yeah, there's a lot more issues besides the old crisis heir haters. Besides them, yeah, we gotta talk about a bit more stuff. So yeah, that's honestly gonna be it from me for now. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My Discord server is live right now, so make sure to go check that whenever you can. And I will see you all in the next Hawkeye Star Rail video. Signing off.
I've been so tired. I don't wanna fight, but you're a liar. I need your help, cause the situation's dire. I'm so sick of using people to get higher. We can take a pic